I am very irate today. I just keep running into problems, whether it's interference, my hair being wrong, but like, I've spent the past 3 hours just trying to sort out issues. So I am basically at, like, was it the end of the rope? What's it called? End of my rant? I don't know. I'm getting pissed off. Anyway, what's this about? Oh yeah, Bluetooth. I often say I don't like Bluetooth. Mainly to people I know. I'm not exactly the kind of person that's going to be on Twitter being like, I have Bluetooth shit and stuff. Like, I'm not going to say shit. I'm going to say shit. But I have 3 major problems with Bluetooth. The first one, interference. It's on the same frequency. I've stopped myself on the most psychotic of expressions to explain that I mean frequency spectrum, not just 2.4 gigahertz, the frequency itself. Essentially, you have the industrial, scientific, and medical bands, which are completely unlicensed and just free to use. You don't have to have a license to transmit, so it means that everyone makes their devices for 2.4 gigahertz, and they all interfere with each other. For example, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, if you have a wireless mouse or something, they all use 2.4 gigahertz. So that's where I'm coming from. Jump cut. Then the other one is delay. Just the processing delay of converting it to a wireless signal and then converting it back so you can hear it. It adds a couple of milliseconds, not a couple of milliseconds, it adds like 25, 40 milliseconds of delay. And the third thing is essentially security. It's not really security, it's more control. I mean verification, but I'm going to say security because it essentially is. So I'm going to touch on, first off, interference. Wi-Fi, for some ungodly reason, I'm just going to quickly skip over this bit because I just re-explained what I explained at the start, and this particular issue only really occurs if you're using the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi spectrum. If you're using 5 gigahertz or 6 gigahertz, they won't be interfered by 2.4. Essentially, there's a group of frequencies that you can just broadcast on without having to have a license. And obviously, you don't have a license for your Wi-Fi router, etc., etc. The problem with that is, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are often on the very same, not on the same exact frequency, but you don't need it to be the same frequency for it to interfere. A lot of times, if you have a device on Wi-Fi and you connect Bluetooth, instantly your connection is degraded on both sides. Both your Bluetooth connection is degraded and your Wi-Fi connection is degraded. If you have issues with either, I recommend switching one or the other off. It helps quite a lot. Especially if you're able to plug in, say, I don't know, wired internet. Another reason, Plymouth Uni, why I needed wired internet. You don't hold a grudge, do you? Not only the fact that my computer doesn't have wireless, but anyway. But yeah, I've actually had loads of issues with this. Mainly things like Fire TV sticks are particularly bad because the entire... Not only do they tend to use the same antenna, like the actual physical antenna inside the device, on top of that, if it's a small device, they tend to not actually make the Wi-Fi antenna, they don't tend to make it that sensitive. And so it causes a lot of issues then, especially since these are often dangled behind TVs. And then on top of that, you've got Bluetooth broadcasting at the same time, and you have all these things. And also the remotes for things like Fire TV sticks and Google TVs all use Bluetooth. So everything is interfering with the Wi-Fi. And for a lot of these devices, your only option is Wi-Fi. So yeah, this has caused me literally hundreds and hundreds of problems. Mainly because of that. But not. It's also just like anything that broadcasts near something, sensitive to pick it up. doesn't work well together, especially when you've got sensitive hearing and you can hear every little bit of it, which is always fun. Which brings me on to my second, which is, delay. This is mainly a thing, like, most people do not give a shit about, but I do, mainly because, one, I do things like my computer setup where I try my best to have zero delay, because then if I'm playing something into the system, or if I'm playing a song and I'm singing along to the song and I'm recording that, I want it to be synced up, just already synced up, so that I don't have to, well, if I'm doing live streaming, I don't have to add an artificial delay, because a lot of the time, it's way more complicated than it sounds. Like, I'm pretty sure OBS might actually allow you to just add a delay. I shouldn't be doing this while I'm recording, but I don't see a obvious delay option. And people often say, like, oh, you can't compensate for delay because you can't have negative delay. You can, you just push everything else. You put everything else positive. I keep peeking. I thought I had a compressor on. Apparently I don't. This should be a lot better. But yes. Sorry, I'm just quickly... Here we are. But yeah, I play a lot of rhythm games as well. Things like Guitar Hero, Us. I've played Friday Night Funkin' like twice. Piano Tiles I've actually played quite a lot. But yeah, a lot of the games, they'll have a margin for how wrong you can be for each note you hit. But the problem is, if the game's margin is too small, if a game's margin is smaller, because obviously the bigger the margin, the less precise you need to be, that delay can actually affect your performance in the game. Because when you hear the note and you tap on the screen or whatever, that difference has to be calculated so that the game knows if you've hit it in time. But if you add extra delay that the game doesn't know about, then it thinks, oh, you're late, you're being consistently late here. And you can technically analyze that and be like, oh, this person's consistently late by, say, like, they're consistently 32 milliseconds off, so they're probably, thing. But the problem is then, not only do you count someone who's wrong, but consistently wrong, as being correct, but if the delay changes and the game doesn't understand that, then, yeah, shit like that happens. Because, yes, the delay is different. It's not the same every time. It's entirely dependent on your devices. So, yes, it's, the funny thing is, sometimes you can have really good delay and it sounds almost instant. Live, sorry. What word am I using here? No delay? Almost no delay. But other times you have such delay. Sometimes you have both, like, earphones having a different delay. But yeah, that's mainly why I have such an overcomplicated audio setup, is because I'm trying to eliminate delay in every single spot. Because also USB itself has delay. When you send audio over the USB rather than just an audio cable, it has to convert that audio to USB and back. So it's going to add overhead, it's going to add delay. So when you have a Bluetooth thing connected to a mixer that's connected via USB, everything stacks up and it gets more and more delayed. And not only that, if things are different delays and you have no way to compensate for them, everything sounds out of sync. Which is fun when you're trying to mix everything down live. This is a problem, probably, it's not unique to me, but like, it's very much it's a much more niche problem. Because I have so many solutions for recording things. Like, I could do this, record my audio separately and then sync it up with the video. Don't need to do it now because I'm recording straight into OBS with no delay. But yeah, I'm going to go on to my third thing because I'm going to keep talking about the same thing multiple times. Security. Now, I'm not saying Bluetooth is insecure. It is actually an encrypted connection, as far as I'm aware. I am going to quickly search that up. Is Bluetooth encrypted? I just said it really weirdly then. The problem is, my accent's kind of an amalgamation of, like, loads of things. So, if I say, like, Bluetooth, it could be Bluetooth. It keeps, like, there's so many, I'd say it in so many different ways. Why is this? Yeah, so Bluetooth does use encryption to secure data transmission. The strength and implementation of the encryption can vary depending on the Bluetooth version and device. Okay, that's all fine. When you pair a Bluetooth device, do you see the thing that comes up telling you a pairing code, but you never have to put it in? It's just both devices will show you the same code. That is so you can verify you're connecting to the correct device. But what if the device hasn't got a screen or any way to see the pairing code? Such as these. This is a little conference Bluetooth transceiver. You just put it on the desk, plug it in, and you can either send or receive Bluetooth signals. But obviously, this doesn't have a pairing button or anything. This just, as soon as you plug it in, starts pairing. If it's not paired to anything, it'll be in pairing mode. Which means if this is in receive mode, anyone can pair to it regardless and have no idea they're pairing to it. Well, no, they'll have some idea they're pairing to it by, say, the name or the actual address. But there's no way to verify that it's this you're connecting to, and there's also no way to verify you're not connecting to it. But also, when it's in transmit mode, it will literally pair to any device in pairing mode. So I'm just going to quickly do an example here. That's plugged in. I'll put it into transmit mode so it stops interfering with my fucking setup. Are you in transmit mode? It is in transmit mode. I'm not going to show you that specifically because it does nothing different when it's connected or not. What I am going to grab is my speaker. Let me quickly turn off my Bluetooth on my phone. Computer hasn't got Bluetooth. Does this got Bluetooth on? I don't believe so, but it might. Nope. Perfect. Right, where's my speaker? There it is. This is my speaker. Again, no interface, no way to tell what's pairing to it. No way to tell pairing codes. This is just, it goes into pairing mode, and you then pair from your phone. Like a speaker. Isn't that wonderful? But yeah, so this is currently in just connector mode. This is just going to run through its own list of things that it's already connected to. So if we put this into pairing mode, say I want to try and connect, say, my phone. Oh, it's connected to something. So this kind of makes me feel like you could probably have some sort of device plugged into that. Have some sort of, maybe even just an old phone, which I have on hand. You could plug that into it and continuously broadcast something, and as soon as someone tries pairing a speaker, it'll start broadcasting to that speaker. Well, obviously if they're within range. So you could possibly do something like play porn through it, like at full volume, just continuously. Because obviously, if no one's paired to it, no one's going to hear it. But then as soon as it does, people will literally be like, what the fuck is happening? Because as far as they're aware, they haven't clicked pair on their phone. But this doesn't need any pairing. There's no verification with pairing in Bluetooth. With that pairing code, even if it's wrong, you can still click pair. All that means is you're not speaking to the device. You're not speaking to the two devices aren't actually speaking to each other. They're speaking to different devices. That's what the pairing code is for. It's for you to verify it's the right device. But it's on the wrong side. It's on the side from the device with the screen and the device you can actually control. Because there's no way for me to... The only way for me to stop a connection to this is to press the pairing button again. Or obviously turn it off, but... How would you then connect to your phone without it instantly connecting back? There's no way. There's no authentication at all. I And you might be thinking, oh, well, it'd be pretty hard to do authentication with these devices, especially ones without things. It's like they have buttons. I decided to record this again because I explained it so badly, my idea. Essentially, it's just like, have the device be like, hey, press the button to confirm. It's a problem I find a lot with like Apple devices where they just have it like, I don't remember what they like call it, but essentially you turn the device on and instantly your phone tries to pair to it, which is alright, unless you try and do that anywhere public with other people with iPhones. Like even if you're just like with a group of friends, like it'll still pop up on their devices if it's not paired already. And you might be thinking, oh yeah, but when it's paired it won't do that. But what if it unpairs? Like, yeah, anyway. My gripes with Bluetooth, you might be thinking, oh yeah, these are just a few pet peeves. These are issues I run into daily using Bluetooth. I consistently have issues. There's a reason why, I've got, these are my computer wired earphones because they have no mic in them. But then I've got another cable for them to plug into my phone with a microphone in. And also on top of that, I still got my Bluetooth things. There's a reason I have all of them together in conjunction and not just the one. Because sometimes these aren't the right option just because they're Bluetooth. And it's such a shame. It could, like, Bluetooth originally, when it started, like, working, it was, like, magic being able to just have wireless anything from your phone. Your personal device can have a wireless headphones. But the problem is, they haven't improved it. They've improved the speed. They've improved the energy efficiency. But they haven't improved these fundamental flaws. And obviously, you can have a lower latency Bluetooth connection, but the overhead is just, you cannot get around the encoding overhead, because otherwise the signal then becomes susceptible to interference, and it's just a whole mess. Honestly, like, I know it's a big standard. I know I'm a random person just, conjecting into a void. But it does feel like it wasn't thought through. Or at least, it was thought through, but the upgrades weren't. So, funny thing is, this doesn't actually connect to my earphones, it only connects to my speaker. It did used to connect to my earphones, and I have no idea why. I don't know if it's this device. As far as I'm aware, this has no pairing codes or anything. It'll just pair to anything. So, I might actually open it up to have a look if there's any ROM in it. And yes, you can believe I did open it up to see if there was ROM in it. And there wasn't. But I might edit that as a separate bit, because it goes off the rails and it's just completely irrelevant to what I was talking about. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll leave you with this little snippet at the end. Fucking end it.